Hello viewers, you're watching Afghanistan Report and I am your host Saloni Gupta. The main stories are: world powers aim to draw Taliban into Afghan peace talks. Suicide blast in Jalalabad and Kabul kill many. And war impoverishes healthcare facility in Afghanistan, says Afghan doctor. Leaders and officials from Afghanistan, Pakistan, China and the United States met in Kabul to discuss the future strategy on holding peace dialogue with the Taliban. Afghan Foreign Minister invited the Taliban to come to the negotiating table. We have a report.
Afghanistan, Pakistan, China and the United States held talks on January 18th aimed at laying the ground for a negotiated end to almost 15 years of war between US-supported government forces and Taliban insurgents now on the offensive. Representatives from the four countries met in Kabul to revive a peace process that collapsed last summer.
می‌خواهم به نمایندگی از مردم و حکومت افغانستان از همه گروه‌های طالبان دعوت نماییم که پیام ما به صلح را پذیرفته به میز گفتگو حضور یابند تا بتوانیم همه اختلافات را به گونه سیاسی حل کنیم.
Taliban forces have stepped up their campaign in the last year to topple the Kabul government, which has struggled since most foreign troops left at the end of 2014.
هر گونه تأخیر طالبان برای آمدن به میز گفتگوها آنها را در دید مردم افغانستان به انزوای بیشتر خواهد برد. آنهایی که فرصت پیش آمده برای پیوستن به روند صلح را از دست می‌دهند به گونه آشکار ثابت می‌سازند که یک افغانستان دارای حاکمیت، استقلال، ثبات، صلح و رفاه به نفع آنها نیست و اهداف آنها دهشت افغانی و ویرانگری می باشد.
The ultimate goal of the diplomatic maneuvering is to get representatives of the Afghan government and the Taliban into direct negotiations on the country's future. A previous round of talks took place in Islamabad. Although the Afghan army and the Taliban are intensifying fighting on the battlefield, a political settlement is the only solution to the conflict.
The militants continue to carry out attacks at civilian establishments to create fear psychosis among the people. In Jalalabad, a suicide bomber killed at least 13 people at the home of a tribal elder, whereas in Kabul, a suicide attack killed several employees of a private TV channel. A report.
On January 16, a suicide bomber blew himself up, killing at least 13 people at the home of a tribal leader in Jalalabad, where scores had gathered to celebrate his son's release from Taliban captivity. The son was killed and more than a dozen others, including his father, were wounded in the attack. In Kabul, a suicide attack killed 7 employees of a private Afghan television channel during evening rush hour close to the National Parliament. Wounded Tolo TV employees were being treated at the Kabul Emergency Hospital.
Moving on, Afghanistan will hold postponed parliamentary elections in October after last June's deadline to choose a new assembly was missed because of political squabbling. Parliament's 5-year term expired last June, but elections were postponed because of security fears and disagreements on how to ensure a fair vote after a bitterly disputed presidential election in 2014. President Ashraf Ghani issued a decree last year extending Parliament's mandate until a vote could be held, a decision criticized by Afghans who questioned whether the extension was legal.
ما اعلام می‌نمایم که انتخابات ولسی جرگه و شورای ولسوالی ها به تاریخ 24 میزان سال 1395 دایر می‌گردد. از طریق این تریبیون از حکومت و سایر نهادهای ذی دخل می‌خواهد که در موارد آتی با کمیسیون مستقل انتخابات همکاری همه جانبه نماید. اول فراهم نمودن بودجه مورد نیاز در وقت و زمان مشخص آن. دو تامین امنیت رای دهندگان، کاندیدان، کارمندان انتخابات، مراکز و محلات رایدهی و مواد انتخاباتی.
Rising incidents of violence in Afghanistan has raised serious concerns among the international community. Many countries are committing their support to Afghan forces to fight the Taliban. On his recent visit to Kabul, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull announced an increase in troops in Afghanistan.
Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, on his visit to Kabul, announced a minor increase in the Australian troop commitment to the NATO-led force supporting the Afghan government.
There is nowhere that is a long, we say Afghanistan's a long way from Australia, and it is, and I'm sure you feel it is, particularly when you're missing your families, but it is, everything's very close and very connected. So enabling Afghanistan to be safer, to be more secure, to be able to defend itself with their own people is absolutely critical to the world's security and indeed to ours.
Australia, which lost 41 soldiers in Afghanistan during its more than 12-year involvement in the conflict following the US-led invasion in 2001, will commit 20 more personnel to the mission, bringing its total to 270.
Due to prolonged war in Afghanistan, medical facility has dwindled, and to avail better medical care, most of the Afghans make a beeline for the neighboring countries, especially India. Take a look.
The ongoing war has badly impacted medical services in Afghanistan. Most of the Afghans from the war-torn country travel to the neighboring countries, especially India, to avail better healthcare facilities. Dr. Ahmad Siyar Rahimi from Afghanistan, who was one of the participants of an event organized by Association of Surgeons of India, said a forum like this would help in building communication between surgeons from different countries.
I came here by invitation of ASI, Association of Surgeons of India, just to make communication and establish communications between our society of surgeons, and ASI. And I hope that these communications has its effect on on our education and our health.
The healthcare system in Afghanistan has dwindled due to the conflict and difficult access to healthcare facilities and poor healthcare facility conditions. A lack of trained healthcare providers is the biggest challenge for the war-torn country.
Majority of our operational fields in Afghanistan, we have no word to say. Still, majority of our citizens are traveling to our neighbors and also India for operations and for their treatments. So the war, the last decade's war, had these effects, on our society and our health.
India has been the medical destination for most of the Afghans, as thousands of people from the war-ravaged country travel every month to seek better healthcare facilities.
With that, we come to the end of this week's episode of Afghanistan Report. I am Saloni Gupta taking your leave. We will be back next week with more news and views from Afghanistan. Goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.